Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Kyle Clark. An elected official who shot a teenager in the face has been recalled by voters tonight. Brent Metz is off the Mountain View Town Council.
They finished up the unofficial hand count of those votes within the last hour. 9 News reporter Spencer Soisher is at the town hall tracking what's next. Spencer?
Yeah, Kim and Kyle, this election tonight was a hand count of about 200 votes from about 500 people here in this town. It's only about 12 blocks long, but the people here really do seem to care about what happened. In fact, one of them was honking their horn as they went down the street after the election results were posted on the town's website. A bunch of the neighbors were out here talking with each other then as well. And what it means is that Brent Metz will be replaced for the remainder of his term on the Mountain View Town Council. And while the people of Mountain View are moving forward without Metz, he's still facing criminal charges for the incident that started this all. Metz has pleaded not guilty to shooting a teenager in the face last year in Conifer. Investigators say he shot a 17-year-old boy after he hopped a fence onto Metz's property to ask about taking homecoming pictures there. The 17-year-old survived. Metz has said his gun accidentally went off, but he's now facing 4 felony counts in connection to the shooting. This recall effort claims the community lost trust in him after the shooting. And the former mayor of the town is the one who helped lead the recall effort. He says if he were Metz, he would have just stepped down before all of this.
Everybody thinks we get great pleasure out of doing something like this. And I got to be honest with you, you really don't. The big problem is that we were more worried about the representation of the town and what it meant. And we just didn't think, as citizens, we didn't think it was a good fit.
I reached out to Metz tonight for comment about this and I didn't hear back. The town has now selected Ryan Denber to replace him on the council. As for Metz's criminal case, last month his defense attorney told the judge that they're working towards a settlement with prosecutors. Live in Mountain View, Spencer Soisher, 9 News.
Just a gorgeous sunset seen tonight from the CSU campus. Look at that, Kim. That's a real pleasure. We're expecting sunshine, 70s through the rest of the week, Kathy. More good stuff ahead.
You know what's great about that sunset?
What's that?
It's going down, the sun, at 8:39.
As most sunsets do. Oh, the time
the
specifically.
timing.
Yeah,
Kyle, it's
sure.
the time. We have been waiting to get through this long, cold winter to get a longer day and have that sun go down after 8. So it's lovely. So that was my point there. Anyway, it's a beautiful night in the city, and it was a lovely day today. Temperatures have come down a little bit, but we're still comfortable at 64 in Denver, 55 in Lyman, and 58 currently in Fort Collins. The wind was really blustery and still quite gusty in areas like Greeley and Fort Morgan along the Front Range foothills, and we might see that wind pick up again tomorrow. We've got a little moisture trying to sneak into Colorado on the backside of this low, which is spinning north of Omaha. So that northwest flow is bringing in a few light snow showers, believe it or not, to the northern mountains. But the heavy thunderstorms off to the east of us through Cincinnati, Atlanta, down to Jackson. Tornadic storms with large hail and heavy rain. And how about a little snow in May for Colorado? Not enough that we have advisories or it's an impact for you, but kind of fun to see on the old radar. All right, threat for severe weather tonight and tomorrow well to the east of us, and that will be the case for about 24 to 48 hours. We're tracking a few light showers over the northern border, but they're racing through so quickly tomorrow. I don't know that we'll get that rain on the ground. Temperatures will not be as cool as last night. We had that frost advisory south and east of Denver, temperatures in the 30s. We won't be that cold tonight. Weather headlines include a nice warming trend, 80s in the forecast, but we're tracking a return of afternoon thunderstorms just in time for your holiday weekend. More on that coming up.
2 tornadoes that damaged homes and properties in Adams and Elbert counties on Sunday were EF2s. The National Weather Service classified them today. That means both tornadoes had wind speeds up to 135 miles per hour and caused considerable damage. The tornado near Bennett damaged 17 buildings, including 6 homes. The Elbert County tornado damaged 19 homes. Incredibly, no one was seriously hurt in either tornado. People in the Elkhorn Ranch neighborhood in Elbert County never got an alert on their phones about that tornado. That doesn't mean the systems failed. There simply was no warning. A wireless emergency alert geo-targets cell phones in a certain area and blasts out a warning. The first official one was sent out at 1:12 Sunday afternoon. That appears to be a couple of minutes after the storm moved out of Elbert County and into Arapahoe County. The reason people in the Elkhorn Ranch didn't get one is because there was never a tornado warning for that area.
Was a land spout at first. They really do pop up out of nowhere. When it first developed, there was no clear signature on radar. There was nothing other than the visual on the ground.
This weekend's storms, though, should be a good reminder to make sure that you have those alerts enabled on your phone and sign up for your county's opt-in alert system to get text messages and phone calls when there are emergencies in your area. Broomfield police are investigating the disappearance of a 34-year-old man from Aurora, last seen nearly 1 month ago.
9 News reporter Ria Jod joins us now on this. Ria, his family understandably wants answers.
Yeah, his family says they have no idea why his car was found in Broomfield and don't know if he had any ties to that area. They're glad police have issued an alert today that he's missing and endangered, but they say this hasn't made sense from the start.
We're in this time frame where we don't know nothing.
Nearly 3 weeks since Paul Aragon disappeared.
You don't know if he's coming or when. We're stuck.
His family says they're living in limbo.
And I'm dad, raised Paul since he was 2.
Paul was my older brother. He was the funny type, the one to always try to make things funny or making jokes with the kids.
Get him, get him.
This is from Christmas of last year at my house. My mom, yeah, he was in constant contact with my mom. If it wasn't every day, it was every other day. And his daughter as well. Like, that was the one, that's his whole world.
His sister Jonice says Paul stopped answering his phone on April 30th.
It didn't really hit me too much until, after maybe the next few days when they said she still couldn't get a hold of him.
Broomfield police say they first spotted Paul's truck early in the morning of May 2nd near a construction site off of Edgeview Drive. The engine was running, the lights were on, and his dog was inside.
And it's just sitting there.
And he's just nowhere to be found.
We just want some help.
Police said they searched the area on foot and with drones and found nothing.
The way they found his vehicle leaves me with the assumption that he had the intention of getting back into his car.
The truck, with all of Paul's belongings inside, sat there for nearly 2 weeks. This video was taken by a family member on May 13th.
Louise was going up there every day to see if Paul was going to show back up to the trucks.
Paul's mom, Louise, his dad, John, and the rest of the family are holding on to hope, because it's a pain they can't bear to go through again.
I don't know how we do it. You know what I mean? I don't know how we do it, but if you ever lost a kid, you can't get over that. But we lost 2, and now God has us. Mm-hmm. He has us.
Sorry.
It's all right, baby.
Paul's family also said he had come a long way since he battled addiction, completing a transitional housing program, getting stable work, and staying close with his family. If you know anything about where Paul Aragon is, you are asked to call Broomfield Police. Ria Jha, 9 News.
A new law that creates more protections for transgender people in Colorado is facing its first legal challenge. The Kelly-Loving Act expands the state's definition of discrimination to include intentionally refusing to use someone's preferred name or pronouns. Several parent groups filed a federal lawsuit this week challenging the law. They claim it violates the First Amendment right to free speech. That's because they argue it would force people to say things that they find objectionable, like using someone's preferred name or pronouns.
The 16th Street Mall just rebranded to, wait for it now, 16th Street. Full reconstruction of the downtown street will not be done until this fall, but the city's power players don't want us to call it a mall anymore. Just call it 16th Street. The Downtown Denver Partnership paid a firm in London $100,000 for that rebrand. Part of the rebrand resulted in dropping that final word.
The misperception that you can come and think you're looking for one location or one building, we think has a real impact on retailers throughout the entire mile of 16th Street.
I mean, there will be a cost savings because they can just saw the end off of all the street signs. They don't have to print new ones. You know what I mean? So they did spend $100,000, but they can save money on the signage. The city and the Downtown Denver Partnership announced last month that they're also going to have additional police and security resources down there. 10 dedicated DPD foot patrol officers, 20 security officers through the partnership, and 50 clean team members.
Happening now, House lawmakers and the Rules Committee are just beginning to meet on legislation to support President Trump's agenda. They're discussing the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The Republican-led effort would extend tax breaks that Trump approved in his first term while adding new ones. The package calls for cuts to Medicaid, food stamps, and green energy programs. There's division within the party because some more conservative Republicans are calling for quicker, steeper cuts to federal programs to offset the cost of the trillions of dollars in lost tax revenue. The bill could make it to the House floor by tomorrow afternoon. Local advocates worry if the Republican budget proposal passes, there could be a wave of evictions in Colorado. 130,000 people across the state rely on some form of federal rental assistance. That money could be cut by 40%. As it stands now, the budget proposal would effectively end Section 8 housing vouchers and would also cap rental assistance at 2 years unless you have a disability.
Folks are already struggling to make ends meet and to fit all of the pieces of a family budget together. And with this drawback of federal support, you know, I think we're just fearing really meaningful and serious consequences across the state.
Eviction filings in Colorado hit an all-time high last year with 60,000 households receiving a notice. Advocates say eviction numbers are already up for 2025.